The most dangerous man in a crowded room is not the biggest one. It is not the one with the hard stare or the broad shoulders or the expensive watch. It is the one you would never be able to describe to a police sketch artist 5 minutes after he walked past you. The man your eyes slid right over. The man who was, in every way that your memory can hold on to, completely forgettable. Delta Force operators are trained to be exactly that man, and the strangest part is that the skill they use to do it is one you can learn and use in your own life, starting today. It has a name. In the world of special operations and intelligence, they call it being the gray man, and it is almost the opposite of what most people imagine when they picture an elite soldier. It is not about looking tough. It is not about camouflage in the jungle sense, painting yourself to disappear into leaves. It is about disappearing into people, into a normal street, a normal crowd, a normal day. It is the art of being so ordinary, so unremarkable, so perfectly average, that no one who sees you will remember a single thing about you an hour later. The idea is older than Delta Force. It goes back to the shadow world of spies and resistance fighters. During the Second World War, intelligence officers and members of the underground in occupied cities survived by looking exactly like everyone around them, dressing like the locals, walking like the locals, carrying themselves like men and women with nothing to hide and nowhere important to be. To stand out was to be noticed. To be noticed was to be questioned. To be questioned was to be caught. So they learned to vanish in plain sight, and that hard-won craft was passed down, refined, and eventually taught to the modern operator. Because the modern operator needs it just as badly. Picture the real job, the part that never makes the movies. Long before anyone kicks in a door, someone has to be on the ground in a hostile city, watching a target, learning a neighborhood, moving through streets where a single wrong impression could mean death. That man cannot look like a soldier. He cannot have the haircut, the posture, the swagger, the wraparound sunglasses, the sense of a man who is clearly not from here. If he does, he is spotted, he is followed, he is compromised, and possibly killed. His survival depends entirely on being unremarkable, on being the gray man. And so the unit turns invisibility into a discipline and breaks it down into pieces that anyone can understand. The first piece is the simplest, and most people get it exactly backward. It is your clothing. And the rule is not to look good. The rule is to look like everyone else. The gray man studies the environment and dresses to match its baseline, the average of what the people around him are wearing. Not the flashy end, not the shabby end, the dead center. No bright colors that catch the eye. No logos or slogans that give someone a detail to latch onto. No tactical-looking gear that screams that you are trained. Nothing new, nothing expensive, nothing that photographs. If you cannot remember what a man was wearing 30 seconds after he passed, he has already won. In a business district, that means the plain clothes of an office worker. In a rough neighborhood, it means worn and unremarkable. The point is never to be the best-dressed person in the room, it is to be the least memorable. The second piece is harder, because you cannot buy it. It is your behavior. You can wear the perfect forgettable outfit and still light up like a signal flare if you move wrong. The gray man carries himself with a specific kind of quiet confidence, the body language of a person who belongs exactly where he is, and is in no particular hurry. Not the darting eyes of someone who is lost or nervous, not the stiff, over-controlled walk of a man who is trying to look casual, just an ordinary person, moving with a calm sense of purpose, radiating the single most disarming message a human being can send, which is, there is nothing to see here. The most common way people fail at this is by trying too hard. They have heard the advice, so they force a slouch, they fake a bored expression, they consciously slow their walk, and the effort itself becomes the tell, because nothing looks more suspicious than a person performing casualness. The gray man does not perform. He genuinely lowers his own internal urgency until the calm is real, because people are extraordinarily good at sensing when someone is acting. You cannot fake ordinary. You have to actually become it, if only for the length of one street. If you are already thinking about how much of this applies to your own daily life, you are exactly right, and there is a lot more of it coming, so subscribe to War Code, because the next pieces are the ones that turn this from a spy trick into a genuine personal safety skill you can use in a parking lot tonight. The third piece is about killing your signature. Every person carries a set of details that other people remember, and the gray man learns to file every one of them down. A loud voice, a booming laugh, a distinctive walk or a limp exaggerated by pride, a bright bag, a flashy phone, a big flashy vehicle, A habit of talking to everyone, making jokes, being memorable and liked. All of it is a signature, and a signature is exactly what you do not want. This is the hardest part for a lot of people, because so much of modern life is built on standing out, on being noticed, on being remembered. The gray man reverses that instinct entirely. He wants to be the person the witness cannot describe. Average height, average build, nothing unusual. Sorry, officer, he just looked like a normal guy. The fourth piece is awareness, and here the operator does something clever. He watches everything without ever appearing to watch anything. An amateur who is nervous swings his head around, scanning, obviously checking his surroundings, and that scanning is itself a giant tell that marks him as either a threat or a victim. The gray man keeps his head still and lets his eyes do the work, using his peripheral vision, reading the reflections in windows and car mirrors and dark storefronts, taking in the whole scene while appearing to look at nothing in particular. He is more aware than everyone around him, and he looks less alert than any of them. That combination, high awareness hidden behind a relaxed and ordinary surface, is the heart of the entire skill. There is a deeper layer to that awareness, and it is the reason the gray man is not just hidden, but genuinely safer. Operators are taught to read the baseline of a place, the normal rhythm of a street, a station, a market. What does ordinary look like here? How do people move? How loud is it? Where do they gather? What is the resting temperature of the crowd? Once you know the baseline, the thing that matters jumps out at you, because danger almost always announces itself as a break in the pattern. The man who is too still while everyone else moves. The one wearing a heavy coat in the heat. The face that keeps reappearing. You do not have to be paranoid to catch these things. You only have to know what normal feels like, so that abnormal pulls at your attention on its own. Blending into the baseline and reading the baseline turn out to be the same skill, seen from two directions. The same thinking extends to how a careful person moves through the world. An operator does not drive the flashy car. He drives the common one, the color you forget, the model you see 100 times a day. He backs into a parking space so he can leave facing out, without a three-point turn, if he ever needs to go in a hurry. He notices the exits of a room before he sits down, and he takes the seat with his back to the wall and a view of the door. None of this looks like anything. A man who parks nose out and sits facing the room reads, to everyone else, as simply a man sitting down. To him, it is a set of small margins quietly stacked in his favor, so that if something ever does go wrong, he has bought himself an extra second, and a second is often the whole game. In the modern world, there is a new front for all of this, and it is the one most people ignore completely. You can be perfectly gray on the street and blazing bright online. The vacation photos that announce your house is empty. The posts that broadcast your routine, your route, your income, your schedule. The check-ins that place you at an exact spot at an exact time. A predator no longer has to watch you from a doorway. You may be handing him everything he needs from your own phone. The gray man mindset now includes a digital version, sharing less, broadcasting less, leaving fewer patterns for a stranger to study. Being unremarkable is no longer only about the clothes you wear, it is about the trail you leave behind you. Now here is why this matters for you, the person watching this, who is probably never going to run surveillance in a foreign city. Think about how a predator actually chooses a victim. Whether it is a mugger in a parking garage, a pickpocket in a train station, or something far worse, the person who preys on others is running a quiet calculation, looking for the easiest, safest target. And who do they pick? They pick the person who stands out for the wrong reasons. The one who looks distracted, buried in a phone, unaware. The one flashing something worth taking. The one who looks nervous and soft, or lost, or drunk, or afraid. Predators are looking for a signal, and almost every signal they want is the opposite of the gray man. So when you make yourself unremarkable, you are not just hiding. You are quietly removing yourself from the menu. The gray man is passed over, not because he looks tough enough to fight, but because he does not register as a target at all. He does not look rich enough to rob or weak enough to bully or oblivious enough to surprise. He looks like a calm, aware, ordinary person who is not worth the risk, and a smart predator moves on to easier prey. That is a form of self-defense that never requires you to throw a punch. You win the encounter by making sure it never begins, and that is the quiet genius of it. The strongest self-defense is the fight a predator decides, all on his own, not to start, and you will never even know how many of those you have already won. You can apply this anywhere, and it costs you nothing. Walking to your car late at night, be aware, be calm. Do not bury your face in your phone. do not look like the distracted one. In an airport or a foreign city, dress down, leave the flashy watch at home, blend into the flow of ordinary travelers, instead of announcing yourself as a wealthy tourist. At an ATM, at a gas station, in a crowd, be the person nobody clocks. It is not about paranoia. It is about a low, steady hum of awareness underneath a completely ordinary surface. The same thing the operator does, scaled down to a normal life. And that is the final lesson, the one that reframes everything. The gray man skill is not a costume you put on. It is a mindset. It takes a certain humility to want to be forgettable in a world that begs you to be seen. It takes discipline to keep your awareness up while keeping your surface calm. It takes control to smother the natural human urge to stand out, to be noticed, to be remembered. The operator has all three: humility, discipline, and control. And he uses them not to look dangerous, but to look like nothing at all. There is one more thing that makes this skill so remarkable, and it is how hard it is for a warrior to learn. A soldier spends years being trained to project presence, to dominate a space, to be the most commanding person in the room. The gray man skill asks him to do the exact opposite, to suppress all of that, to make himself smaller than the moment, to win by being overlooked. It runs against every instinct the uniform builds. That is why it is a discipline and not a trick. It takes real training to turn a man who has learned to fill a doorway into a man who can slip through it and leave no trace behind in anyone's memory. So the next time you picture the most capable man in the room, forget the hard stare and the broad shoulders. Picture the one you would never pick out of a crowd, the one who saw everything and was seen by no one, the one who could stand next to you at a bus stop, learn everything about you, and leave without ever becoming a memory. That is the gray man, and the pieces of what he does, the plain clothes, the calm body language, the killed signature, the hidden awareness, are yours to use the moment you walk out your door. If you want more skills like this one, drawn from the world's most secretive units and made practical, subscribe to War Code, and I will see you on the next one.